Dennis Rose.
Oh, beautiful again. Oh, he's attacked.
And just listen to the crowd here in the 3 Arena.
Look at that speed. Well done.
All over.
It is all over. Sage Northcutt just like that.
The UFC is back on FS1. You just saw some of the best of October as we head into an incredibly stacked November, starting with tomorrow's UFC Fight Night from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And there are tomorrow's headliners. Vitor Belfort, one of Brazil's most prominent fighters, looks to settle the score against Dan Henderson. It's a rubber match almost a decade in the making. And it's a top 10 light heavyweight matchup in the co-main event. Patrick Cummins flew down to enemy territory looking for a win over former title challenger Glover Teixeira. The FS1 UFC Fight Night weigh-in show starts right now. Hello, everyone. After over a month off, it is great to be back bringing you weigh-in coverage here at the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles. I'm Karen Bryant, alongside a pair of retired heavyweight fighters.
Old guys.
No! Beloved guys. UFC Tonight host Kenny Florian and, of course, the Thug Jitsu Grandmaster, Eve Edwards. And Ken Flo, we got a big, fun show for people coming out of Sao Paulo.
Yeah, we have an amazing main event, obviously, between two legends, Belfort and Henderson. Great co-main event, but I think I'm most excited about Thomas Almeida taking on Anthony Birchek, two guys that may very well be superstars in the 135-pound division.
Yeah, this card should be exciting from top to bottom. My fight that I'm excited about is Burns and Magomedov. Those guys are going to put on a hot show.
All right, well, Kenny, we're going to get right to the main event before the guys get on the scale. So they really have accomplished so much in, nearly 2 decades of the sport. Now, two of the most legendary fighters are going at it for a third and obviously most likely final time. Vitor Belfort versus Hendo. Set it up for us.
Very important fight here. Two of the best fighters of their generation. They have won belts in several different organizations at the highest level. I think this really is a very important fight, or a more important fight for Vitor Belfort, who, obviously his 2013 was in question. It was an amazing year, but obviously a lot of people calling that into question. He needs to go out there and get this win over the legend Dan Henderson.
Getting a win over Dan Henderson isn't going to be an easy thing, though. I mean, both these guys, I remember sitting on my couch at 17, 18, 19 years old watching both these guys beat a lot of butt. So I want to see who's going to hold their hand high at the end of the night, man.
Well, for the record, Vitor going in as a -365 favorite against +275 for Hendo. Eve, two hulking light heavyweights. So in our co-main event, heavy-handed Glover Teixeira ranked number 9 versus Patrick Cummins. I mean, Glover's number 4, Patrick Cummins is number 9, and his wrestling is so solid.
Yeah, two top 10 light heavyweights, and these guys are both coming back off of bounce-back wins. So somebody's trying to start a streak. I think what's going to happen here, what's going to be the big deal is the wrestling aspect. We're going to see if Teixeira's going to be able to stop Patrick Cummins, or if Cummins is going to be able to take him down and control him.
Well, of course, we will find out, but first they have to make it official. So we are done from here for now. We're going to head south of the equator to Hodges Lima. He's got the microphone on the stage in Brazil. Take it away, Hodges.
Salve, salve, São Paulo! Hello, everybody around the world! Vamos começar agora a pesagem oficial do UFC. Belfort versus Henderson 3. Giovanni Decker, presidente do UFC no Brasil. Sean Shelby, matchmaker do UFC. As nossas Octagon Girls, Camila Oliveira, Jenny Andrade, Luciana Andrade. E vamos lá para a pesagem da primeira luta, a luta de abertura que você acompanha também no UFC Fight Pass. Divisão dos Galos, Bantamweight Division. Vão se enfrentar Bruno Coreia e Matheus Nicolau. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança, the first on the scale is Mr. Matheus Nicolau.
Matheus Nicolau makes his official UFC debut here in Sao Paulo. He was on The Ultimate Fighter Brazil, and interestingly, his opponent, Bruno Correa, in this one was actually a teammate on the show. The two became pretty good friends afterwards, but he said that's not going to be a factor in this one. When the cage door closes, it's business as usual, but after, they'll probably share an acai.
$135.
61.2 quilos, 61 quilos e 200 gramas para Matheus Nicolau. E vem aí seu adversário, and his opponent, Mr. Mr. Bruno Correa.
Wednesday, don't miss UFC Tonight as the best team of analysts in the sport break down all of this weekend's action and take a look ahead to next weekend's UFC 193. UFC Tonight is Wednesday at 8 Eastern only on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$134.
60.7 quilos. 60 quilos e 700 gramas para Bruno Correa. Está confirmada a primeira luta, divisão dos galos, Bruno Correa e Matheus Nicolau, que você acompanha também no UFC Fight Pass. Vamos para a pesagem na segunda luta, também na categoria peso galo, Bantamweight Division. Vão se enfrentar Jimmy Rivera e Pedro Munhoz. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança é o Mr. Jimmy El Terror Rivera.
This week, The Ultimate Fighter has twice the action with 2 fights in 1 episode. An all-new The Ultimate Fighter is Wednesday at 10 Eastern and Pacific only on FS1.
$136.
61.6 quilos para Jimmy Rivera, 61.600. E vem aí o seu adversário, Pedro The Young Punisher Munhoz.
Pedro Munhoz is a fighter's fighter at heart. This kid at 13 years old saw Royce Gracie fight in the UFC and decided then that he was going to be a mixed martial artist. Ever since, he's been working his butt off, and he's put together a 12-1 record, only losing a close decision to Rafael Asunciao.
$135.
61.2 quilos, 61.200 para Pedro The Young Punisher Munhoz. Confirmada, portanto, a segunda luta de divisão dos galos, Pedro Munhoz e Jimmy Rivera. Vamos para a terceira luta, que você também acompanha no UFC Fight Pass. Vem aí, Gassan Umalatov e Biscar de Andrade na divisão dos meio-médios, Welterweight Division. No primeiro a caminhar para a balança, Mr. Gassan Cobra Umalatov.
The college football playoff rankings are out, and tomorrow we've got a huge Big 12 showdown between undefeated teams as 8th-ranked TCU and 14th-ranked Oklahoma State face off at 3 Eastern only on Fox.
$170.
77.1 quilos, 77.100 para Gassan Umalatov. E vem aí o seu adversário, and his opponent, Biscar de Andrade.
Biscar de Andrade has a 17-7 record. He's a former world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's very well known for his triangle choke and his overhand right. He also was a competitor on Season 2 of Ultimate Fighter Brazil.
170.
170, 77.1 quilos, 77 quilos e 100 gramas para Alexandre Andrade. Confirmada a terceira luta do card preliminar, vamos avançando, pesagem agora na categoria peso pena.
Welcome back to the desk in Los Angeles. You can catch the 4-pack of fights tomorrow on FS1, the exclusive home of the UFC. Next up is a featherweight fight between Chaz Skelly and Kevin Souza. The 14-1 Skelly is up first.
Chaz Skelly is one of these tough guys from Texas that I know and love. This guy loves to go duck hunting, deer hunting, and fishing, but this guy also has a witty mouth, so he's never going to miss a chance to drop a "that's what she said" on you. Let's see if he brings that dad body to the scale tonight.
146.
146, 66.1 quilos, 66 e 100 para Chaz Skelly. E vem aí o seu adversário, Kevin Souza.
Kevin Souza actually didn't like MMA at first. It took going down to Tavares MMA to help out with his boxing for him to actually get into it. He then became the striking coach as well as a sparring partner. He loves MMA now. He's on a 10-fight winning streak, 9 of those knockouts.
Professional. 146.
146, 66.1 quilos para Kevin Souza, 66 quilos e 100 gramas. Confirmada a quarta luta do card preliminar, vamos avançando, pesagem ainda na divisão dos penas, Featherweight Division. Thiago Tavares e Clay Guida. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança, the first on the scales, Mr. Thiago Tavares.
The UFC returns to FS1 with a wild rematch between middleweight contenders Vitor Belfort and Dan Henderson tomorrow at 7 Eastern on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$146, 66.1 quilos, 66 e 100 para Thiago Tavares. E vem aí o seu adversário, and his opponent, Mr. Clay, the Captain Guida.
Clay Guida is a guy I know very well. I competed against him at UFC 107. This guy really is a cardio machine. And when you look at all the guys that he's beaten, very, very impressive. He has beaten 2 UFC champions, one in Anthony Pettis, and the other one who is the current champ, Rafael dos Anjos. He also beat Takanori Gomi, who is the Pride champion for many years.
Stay still on the scale. Stay still, stay still. 146.
146, 66.1 quilos para Clay Guida, 66 quilos e 100 gramas. Confirmada a quinta luta do card preliminar, vamos avançando. Divisão dos leves, Lightweight Division, vão se enfrentar Johnny Case e Ian Cabral. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança, the first of his carries, Mr. Johnny
Tonight, 12th ranked Utah looks to climb back into the playoff picture when they take on Washington at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$156.
156, 70.7 quilos, 70 quilos e 700 gramas para Johnny Case. E vem aí o seu adversário, and his opponent, Mr. Ian Cabral.
Brazilian native Ian Cabral actually moved his wife and his daughter to Barcelona, Spain. He becomes the first UFC fighter to set up and live and train there. He said he hopes to popularize the sport there in Spain.
$156, 70.7 quilos, 70 quilos e 700 gramas para Ian Cabral. Confirmada a luta entre Ian Cabral e Johnny Case, vamos para a pesagem da última luta do card preliminar, também na divisão dos leves, Lightweight Division. Vão se enfrentar Abel Trujillo e Gleison Tibau. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança de Personal Scales, Mr. Abel Kila Trujillo.
All right, well, we have two fights here between the Blackzilians and American top team. That's why Eve is so nervous over here sitting next to me. But Abel Trujillo is a hard-hitting and aggressive fighter. Likes to get off to a good start as well. He's finished 5 opponents in the first round. Representing the Blackzilians, he has 7 wins by knockout. He's also a 4-time NAIA All-American wrestler.
156.
156. 70.7 kilos.
I talked to Abel a couple of days ago. He said this is the first fight that he's going to fight after living a vegan lifestyle.
Oh, wow.
So see how that does for him. Tibau, man, this is my brother from another mother. I love this guy. He's been in the U.S. for a long time, but he's still working on his English. This guy's about to be tied for second most fights in the UFC with Frank Mir and Matt Hughes. So I cannot wait to see Tibau throw down tomorrow, man. This is one of my favorite training partners. I love going with him. He goes hard all the time, consistently make weight. I love this guy.
155.
155.
He will look radically different tomorrow.
Oh,
You
definitely.
punked him on his English, though, Eve.
He'll admit it.
Confirmada a última luta do card preliminar, vamos avançando para a pesagem da luta do card.
All right, folks, welcome back to the desk. Those were the prelims. Next up, we've got the main card. Coming up, a pair of hard-hitting 205-pounders. They're going to square off when Corey Anderson and Fabio Maldonado. Listen, Kenny, tough 19 winner Corey Anderson will be the first to step on the scale. He's got an incredible opportunity and a very game opponent in front of him.
No doubt about it. He's also a crazy one-upper. To the beast in 25-8. Why can't it be 24-7, man? Really? 25-8? Jeez. Well, listen, this guy really is a hard worker, Karen. You know, he's a 2-time collegiate wrestling All-American. He says, my training never changes. It doesn't matter who I'm fighting. I always train the same. We train for any kind of fighter out there, so he's always ready. As you mentioned, the Ultimate Fighter 19 winner. Says Muhammad Ali is his hero. He really has been working a lot on his footwork and his jiu-jitsu with his coaches, Ricardo Almeida and Mark Henry.
205.
205. 93 kilos, 93 quilos para Corey Beastie, 25-8 Anderson. E vem aí o seu adversário. And his opponent, Fabio Caipira Gatsu.
Tomorrow morning, your College Football Saturday starts with what should be a high-scoring shootout between Texas Tech and West Virginia at 11:30 Eastern, only on FS1.
I love the look that Fabio Maldonado was giving to Corey Anderson across the stage. This guy, I'm sorry, here's the weight. Let's see what he's weighing in at.
205.
This guy is so tough, man. He will not quit a fight. He doesn't understand. I don't think he knows what the meaning of the word quit is. So we're going to see a fight tomorrow where he's either going to get a beating or he's going to put a beating on somebody else.
Brazilian Rocky. Hockey.
That's why we love him, hockey.
Yes, hockey.
Hockey Balboa.
Yes.
I didn't think he was going to shake his hand.
And the thing is, I think Fabio was actually a very friendly guy, and that stare down is kind of hard for him, Kenny. He doesn't look like a natural tough guy, mean guy.
Friendly guy outside of the cage, anyway.
For sure.
The first on the scale, primeiro aqui na balança, é o Mr. Rashid Conrads Magomed.
Tomorrow, it's a Pac-12 showdown as Arizona State puts their high-powered offense up against Washington State at 3:30 Eastern, only on FS1.
Well, here's the other fight between American top team and the Black Zillions. Rashid Magomedov, representing ATT, has an 18-1 record. Unbelievable. Has 8 wins by knockout, and he's won his last 11 fights. So obviously, coming into this one with a lot of momentum, has excellent hands, excellent footwork, which makes it very difficult to take him down.
Eve, when you look at him in the gym, how's he look?
When you go with him in the gym, it's tough.
155.
We had a group together on a wrestling day. It was myself, T-Bow, Dustin Poirier, and Rashid. And I don't think anybody took Rashid down in that game.
Wow. Mr. Gilbert Durinho.
Gilbert Burns started training jiu-jitsu when he was just 12 years old alongside his brothers. In fact, he is a 4-time world jiu-jitsu champion. He likes to keep that jiu-jitsu fresh. He recently just competed here in Sao Paulo at the Abu Dhabi Combat Club's tournament. He took away the bronze medal in his division.
You don't get much more decorated in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than Gilbert Burns. This guy is so dangerous on the mat. We saw what he was able to do to get the comeback win in his last one with that beautiful armbar submission. So don't want to be on your back against this guy here.
156.
156, 70.7 kilos.
Yeah, and I first met Durinho when he was basically Vitor's jits coach.
Yes.
So those two have been teamed up together for quite some time.
Yeah, the thing about Burns, I have a few friends, this might get me a little demerits, but I have a few friends on the Black Zillions, and whenever I talk to those guys, they speak so highly of that guy.
Lightweight division, vão se enfrentar Piotr Hamann e Alex Oliveira. O primeiro na balança, the first on the scale, Mr. Piotr Flatwall Hamann.
Premier Boxing Championships toe-to-toe Tuesdays back on FS1, highlighted by a 10-round battle between Alejandro Gonzalez Jr. and Kareem Garfai at 9 Eastern, only on FS1.
Piotr Hallman, man, this guy is pretty tough. I fought this guy in one of my last fights before retiring, and this guy is strong, tough, hard to deal with. He doesn't seem to get tired, keeps coming forward, and he puts a lot of pressure on you. We'll see if he could bring that same pressure tomorrow night and break Cowboy. Like, look at this guy, man.
Does it still bring back a nightmare, Eve? Are you a little...
I'm kind of upset about it. It almost makes me want to fight again, but it was a lot of work.
It was, yeah.
155, 70.3 kilos para Piotr Hamann. E vem aí o seu adversário, and his opponent, Mr. Alex Hellboy Oliveira.
Alex Oliveira sporting that cowboy hat. He started training at 7 years old, but it wasn't mixed martial arts. It was to be a professional bull rider. He did that until the age of 20. It wasn't until 22 that he started training MMA. That was just 5 years ago.
I talked to Dean Thomas about this guy, too. This guy's an American top team. I haven't trained with him, but Dean says, unbelievably, he's stronger than T-Bow.
Really?
Wow. T-Bow is strong. So I can only imagine how strong this kid is.
And I like how Oliveira uses his length. Ken Flo, you agree he uses it wisely?
He does. He uses it very well, but he's just one of those guys. He does not stop coming forward. Very tough, exciting fighter to watch.
And isn't this also the first time he's taking a fight that's not a short notice bout?
That's right. Yeah, he's usually always fighting on short notice.
156.
156, 70.7 kilos para Alex Cowboy Oliveira. 70 quilos e 700 gramas.
Yeah, the way Alex Oliveira fights, he keeps his hands low, he moves a lot. I don't think that's going to be a problem with him for him with Hallman, but I think the pressure of Hallman could get to him, man. I want to see how this goes down.
You want the guy who beat you to win, in other words.
You know, I don't really know because this guy's with American Top Team, so I want ATT to win ultimately.
Anthony Birchak e Thomas Almeida. O primeiro a caminhar para a balança de first in the scales, Mr. Anthony El Toro Birchak.
If you haven't heard, TMZ Sports is moving to FS1, and they'll be breaking sports news every weeknight starting Monday at midnight Eastern.
Guys, this is the fight to watch right here. Anthony Birchak, very interesting. He says, you know, he's not so impressed with Thomas Almeida. Yes, he has 20 wins and 19 knockouts, but he says, I fought the more difficult competition. He says that he's impressed with his offense, but not impressed with his defense. He said, he better watch out for me. So he's very, very confident. He's been training with Frankie Saenz, Henry Cejudo, those guys over in Arizona. Obviously, excellent wrestler in his own right. This should be fun.
136.
136.
I'm not impressed with him taking off his shades and giving them to his coach to put on the scale.
Keep the shades
Keep
on.
your shades on, man. Weigh in like a pro. Weigh in like a boss.
Thomas Almeida will compete here in Sao Paulo in the UFC for the very first time. He's excited about that. He's got friends, family, his entire shootboxing team coming out to support him. He said he's got about 600 people coming. It's going to be like an Almeida pep rally in here.
You know, Birchak wasn't wrong, though. Almeida is hittable.
Yes, exactly. And he gets off to a slow start. Sometimes he needs to get hit before he wakes up, but
When he
can't
does.
do that against someone like Birchak because he's very, very dangerous. Almeida might be the next Brazilian star. And Eve, you were trying to tell me that El Toro is Spanish for El Toro. I don't think that's right. I don't think you're right.
I don't know, but I know this kid is a boss. Look at him on the scale.
Got his glasses on.
You did it right.
Made his weight. Great scrap right here. I'm sorry, he's also the Brazilian Rory McDonald there, Kenny. He's got a Rory McDonald thing going.
He does.
Very serious.
Última luta, divisão dos meio pesados, light heavyweight division. Vem aí, Patrick Cummins e Glover Teixeira. The first on the scale. Primeiro a caminhar para a balança, Mr. Patrick Turkey Cummins.
Another fight where two of my friends are fighting each other. I love Patrick Cummins, man. This guy is cool. I met him through Dennis Bermudez, these guys are really tight. I go down to Costa Mesa, hang out with these guys sometimes. Patrick is one of these guys, he loves fighting, but that's not what all that he's about. He'll take things apart, try to put things back together, build some furniture for himself. He's even sold some to some of his neighbors.
Wow.
Renaissance man. And he knows how to make a good cup of coffee.
Make a coffee.
He'll never get rid of that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Nice guy, though, for sure.
206.
206.
Whenever I go over, that's what I ask for. Can I get a cup of coffee?
93 quilos e 400 gramas para Patrick Cummins. E vem aí o seu adversário, and his opponent, Mr. Glover Teixeira.
Well, this is a guy in Glover Teixeira who's been around a long time, has big-time power in his hand, has 14 wins by knockouts, and he's finished 16 opponents in the first round. So Cummins has to be careful early on in this fight. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well, so very dangerous. And I think the most underrated aspect of his game, Eve, is his wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the fight with OSP. He controlled that fight with wrestling. And he did well against Phil Davis. He just didn't look good when he got tired.
Professional look. 206.
206, 93.4 kilos. 93 quilos e 400 gramas para Mr. Glover.
Glover didn't go down American Top Team for this camp. He stayed in Connecticut. He felt that he had some good training partners there to help him get ready for this one. I was concerned about his wrestling, but he said that there were some good guys up there. I mean, up north, you know, there's some good wrestling up there. So he felt comfortable with the guys that he had to work with for this one.
For years, he worked with Chuck Liddell before even coming to the UFC.
Takedown defense
Confirmada,
extraordinaire.
portanto, a penúltima luta, divisão dos meio pesados, Glover Teixeira e Mr. Patrick Cummins. A partir de agora, vamos conferir pouquinho da
Let's
preparação.
take a closer look at both fighters in our main event. Of course, Vitor Belfort and Dan Henderson.
We go!
I'm fighting Dan Henderson. We fought 2 times.
Oh, there's a straight right by Henderson.
The first one he won by decision, and the second one won by knockout.
Vitor Belfort trying to finish off Henderson. Huge kick.
You know, I'm excited about being able to redeem myself for making a mistake in the last fight.
You know, Dan is one of the toughest guys I ever faced in the octagon, so I consider this fight as a title.
Vitor Belfort versus Dan Henderson, the rubber match. Dan Henderson will go down as one of the all-time greats. Dan Henderson has spectacular highlight reel knockouts over Mauricio Shogun Rua, Michael Bisping. The list goes on and on and on. When Dan Henderson knocked out Tim Boesch in his last fight, he let everyone know that nuclear weapon of a right hand is still potent. But Vitor Belfort, at his best, is one of the most dangerous guys in the UFC's middleweight division. He is capable of winning by submission.
Vitor's got his back. That's it. It's all over.
He is capable of winning by knockout.
Oh my God!
Vitor Belfort is an experienced destroyer. He's one of the most spectacular guys in the UFC in any weight class.
I see this fight just being a brawl. You know, there's a good chance of somebody getting knocked out.
We know that he has that danger right hand. And I'm ready for everything he has.
I don't like to lose ever. I know that I'm capable of so much more, and I knew that I made a mistake.
I knocked Dan out in the last fight, and I'm gonna do it again.
I plan on landing some hard shots on him, and this fight will be different. I'm gonna beat him.
Na divisão dos meio-médios, middleweight division, senhoras e senhores, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Dan Henderson!
Man, I remember being a kid, like 19, 20 years old, sitting on my couch watching Dan Henderson fight in that tournament with Carlos Newton and thinking to myself, I want to be there one day. I want to be like that. And I'm still watching. I've done it. I got the chance to do those things, and I'm still watching this guy do that. I still want to be Dan Henderson when I grow up, man.
186.
186, 84.
Look at that smile.
You can't not like Dan Henderson.
The big question is, when is Eve going to grow up? That's what I want to know. When are you going to grow up?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Don't do it.
Never do it. There is the Mohawk wonder, Vitor Belfort. This guy, you know, talk about Dan Henderson competing for a long time. Vitor Belfort has been competing for 18 years as a professional mixed martial artist. So much experience in that cage tomorrow night. He has 17 wins by knockout. He's won 10 of his last 13 fights. This is a guy who really has seen it and done it all.
185.
185, 83.9 kilos, 83,900 para Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, and I think Hendo's chin may not still be the same, but I think it's still strong. This should still be a really good fight.
Aí está, portanto, confirmado.
Coming up next,